Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. Tonight we are getting ready to run the Mini Rebel 251 from Atlanta, the race leading up to the Rebel 500 tomorrow night with the Sigma Cup Series. And, of course, none other than your Bridge to Cup stars get to tackle the field here tonight for 163 laps, 251 miles, halfway for the full distance for tomorrow's Cup race. And it's already been interesting start to this season as we've seen Campbell Marsh win the first two races, and then Snake Plissken wins it at Portland last week. So now, with no further ado, getting the starting lineup for this race going. Front row, it's going to be Santi Messi alongside the last race winner, Snake Plissken, on the front row. Behind that, you've got Sarah Taylor and Lefty Turner. Sebastian Galloway Jr. led a bunch of laps at Portland, came up short by wrecking out late in the race. He's going to be starting alongside Alex Sanvital. Both drivers very much a threat for the win here today. Joey Johnson and Philip Purpura, Willow Blake and Krista Cower, Tim Morse and Alan Malcolm. Then you've got Ryan Little and Chase Kovacic, Timothy Buchanan with a one-off start here tonight alongside Jonah Burridge. Buchanan looking to try and start a couple of the even number races this season, or maybe all of the even number races. Ryan White and Ralph Oberstadt, followed by Andrew Moger and Cam Jordan. Cannon Gage and Billy Lovejoy, your current points leader. Jason So with Campbell Marsh starting deep in the field. Kat Durham and Trevor Vaden. Kyler Sustre and Finley Herwig. Jack Davis and Silent Amethyst. Justin Day2 and Adam Starr with Jeffrey Gerald and Shy Turtle rounding out the field. I think Shy Turtle has started dead last multiple times so far this season, so definitely not looking promising for that 00, having a rough start to this season. Looking at the point standings currently, Shy Turtle is not too bad, 24th in the points. He's had a couple good finishes, but he qualified 34th to 34 last week at Portland as well. And then only managed to gain 2 spots, finishing 32nd. We've only got a handful of drivers with past experience here at Atlanta. We'll cover the topic later on in the broadcast of those drivers that have prior experience here. But for the most part, most of the field getting their first ever taste of Atlanta Motorspeedway in the Sigma Bridge to Cup Series. We're off and rolling here tonight. Green flag waves. And your early leader, it's going to be Santi Messi in the number 84. Sebastian Galloway Jr. on the inside, gaining a spot up to second here. That outside lane was not the place to be on the start of the race, as they have dropped backwards here pretty rapidly. Joey Johnson now up to third, and Willow Blake following right in his trail. Willow Blake has had some good runs here at Atlanta. One run in the Bridge to Cup Series, and it was a top 5 finish for her. So she definitely has the momentum rolling into tonight, being one of the drivers that has previously competed in the Bridge to Cup Series here at Atlanta. She's pretty much picked up where she left off, getting up to third here on the early running of this one. '84 has had a lot of good success. It just doesn't, it's not been the same driver. So it doesn't matter what driver you throw in the '84 machine, it finds its way up to the front and finds its way to dominating quite a few races. There we go, Willow Blake getting by the '82, moving up to second. And Willow looking like she might make quick work of our leader here, Santi Messi, as well. But tonight is a long race. I mean, for Bridge to Cup standards, it's going to be a longer race than normal. 251 miles, kind of the peak of distance that you'll see in a Bridge to Cup race. But this one's more the proving ground for those that are really trying to move up the ladder. Being the proving ground as it is, we've seen the last 2 race winners of this newly inaugural event that we run each year, has been hosted since 2024, have converted it over to Cup success. So if you're able to win here tonight, at least the history tells that you're going to have a Cup venture in your future. And just like that, look at Willow Blake getting around the '84 here, showing her muscle here tonight. The 6.7 to the top. Impressive start to the night for quite a few drivers here in the top 5. Willow Blake, of course, moving through the field pretty rapidly. But what about the 31 of Philip Purpura? Kind of out of nowhere, showing up into third place at the moment. So that what I was talking about earlier, drivers with past experience here at Atlanta, one of which, I'll just go from the bottom of the list based on average finish here. Jack Davis has had 2 starts, however, an average finish of 30.5. We're looking at Jack Davis on track. Let's see where we can find him. Well, it looks like Jack Davis trying to improve that average finish here tonight, running 19th at the moment. His best finish, obviously, sub-30s here in the first 2 races that he's run at Atlanta. Not great, not a great track record, but always room for improvement. Next on the list is Kyler Sestre, who has an average finish of 23.5. And I don't see another position swap here up to second. Now it's Philip Purpura. And Joey Johnson's going to get back around the 31. So let's continue with our average tracker here tonight and see where the 24 of Kyler Sestre might be. Right there in 23rd, so kind of tracking about average for Kyler Sestre at an average of 23.5. If things go the way they're going right now, he'll continue to hold that 23 average. So the next driver going from the bottom up, you got Kat Durham with 2 starts, an average finish of 20th. Kat Durham might be improving that average here tonight as he's up into a top 10 run at the moment, just ahead of Snake Plissken. Ryan Little, 2 starts, average finish of 18th. And that would be the 21 car, Ryan Little. Definitely below average at the moment, 27th on track. Jason So on the list as well. Average finish of 17th, and he's running 32nd of 34 drivers. But once you get up to the top half of the list, the second half that is, Jonah Burridge with an average finish of 16th. Jonah at the moment also performing below average for Jonah Burridge, the 40 in 24th. So rough start for a couple of these drivers that have had previous experience at the track. ARCA Star, average finish of 14. 27. Nowhere in the top 10. We'll focus on our top, at least top 5 right now. Alex Sanvital, this is their series debut at Atlanta, so not any previous experience to go off of. 82, Joey Johnson, also a rookie here tonight on the Atlanta Mini Rebel 251, and Philip Purpura for that matter. Santi Messi, though, has had 1 start, and that finish, he finished in 9th. So doing all right there, running in the top 5. And Willow Blake, she had 1 start, best finish of 5th. So looking to try and up that with a better finish here tonight, perhaps already in the top 5 with a good run. Now 00 just not performing up to pace. Almost makes you wonder if the team is slightly lacking on budget or something. The 00 has been very slow from Portland to Atlanta now. Hard to say what the problem is right out of the gate. Had a good start to the season, but the wheels have legitimately fallen off for Shy Turtle. Had a 28th at Armory and a 6th at Daytona. Problem is, those are a terrible gauge for how fast the car is, because you get in the draft, you stay in the draft, you win the race, you lose the race. So now that we've actually got to some of the real racetracks where your speed and driver ability factor in, Shy Turtle's just missing the cues here today, and obviously last week as well with Portland. So the team might have to get their nose back to the grindstone on fixing whatever is wrong with that 00 machine, because it is not working for them right now. Some new faces up towards the front of the field. Snake Plissken getting back up there. Snake Plissken, of course, a favorite to try and go back-to-back for the last race he won at Portland. And that would create a very unique trend that we've actually seen in Sigma racing before, where the first 4 races are won by drivers that win back-to-back. It's happened a couple occasions in the Cup Series, but apart from that, not very often. So if it happens here tonight, you know very well the data I'll be digging up to figure out how many times that's actually happened. I'm not about to do the digging during a live broadcast, though. Well, at the moment, Willow Blake holding the lead dominantly over Philip Purpura and Santi Messi. But the 5-car party has turned into a 7-car party. Lefty Turner at the very end of the line there. Alex Sanvital falling into the grasps of Snake Plissken. I did some of my homework here tonight so I can keep you guys at least entertained with some stats and knowledge of the race here tonight. Top picks for Atlanta here tonight for drivers making their series debut. These are kind of the long ball, the odds, you know, favoring some of the new talent that are coming up. Billy Lovejoy, of course, as the points leader, it's hard to vote against him. And at the moment, moving up to third, Snake Plissken, as some unsettling up the front of the field. The Outlaw Gang with the 81 and the 31 there. Swap positions, basically, as Plissken jumps up to third and Purpura falls back to seventh. This battle up front, very interesting, as you've got Cadillac, Chevy, and Dodge. There's a BMW and a couple Mazdas in the picture here as well, but Snake Plissken hunting down the number 67 now. Snake Plissken is scary. When he's on top, he is on top. We watched his utter dominance in the ARCA series last year. So getting to see that utter dominance follow him up the ladder is actually quite impressive. I didn't give it much of a chance, but all of a sudden, it's like a light switch is turned on and Snake Plissken is showing up to the party. Thanks for those of you tuned in so far. Hit that like button. Don't forget, helps the algorithm with our broadcast get a little bit more traction, hopefully. Oh, and he's going to use the 00 as a pick here. That's a nasty trick. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 3 wide for second place. Willow gets pushed out of position there thanks to Shy Turtle. Oh, and Shy, she wasn't happy with that. You can see she getting into the 00 there just a little bit. It gave him a nudge. It's like, hey, knucklehead, wake up. Let's see that aggression again here from Willow as she got held up by the 00. There you might be some old antics there tied between those two, but they resolve it pretty quickly and keep on rolling. Willow unfortunately gets the worst end of that as she shuffles all the way back to 6th and falling to 7th. It's a long race though. It's far from over. But all of a sudden, Snake Plissken looking like a Chad up front. Lefty Turner in the number 1 machine right there behind him, and the 84 of Santi Messi. So let's see how our points leader is faring here today. Willow's still climbing back up through the field. Wow, Sebastian Galloway Jr. up to 8th. Ralph Overstat in 9th. Campbell Marsh running solidly in 12th, and Billy Lovejoy, your points leader, running in 13th. So 1, 2 in the points are actually 13th and 12th on track. And the lap traffic still factoring in here as they're trying to work around the Shy Turtle in the 00 Chevrolet. Some might say it's poetic justice. I don't know. It's kind of wild that the 00 is struggling here early in the season. Lefty Turner going to the lead here. One of the Sigma promoters' entries. Lefty Turner is got himself a presence on Instagram, and just like Jimmy Logano, Sigma officials had reached out to see if he'd be interested to run the series. Of course, they said yes. once you explain the situation to them, it's hard for them to say no. They definitely enjoy coming to race the Sigma Racing Series. And so now, him trying to join the likes of Jimmy Logano as a promoter special, joining the field. Jimmy Logano, not Joey Logano. Jimmy Logano ended up winning in his first career season of Sigma Cup. So the stakes are high for Lefty Turner. He knows that, you know, that's what they expect for these promoter specials, to join the league and succeed out of the gate. And he's doing just that here tonight, holding the lead over a very stout contender in Snake Plissken. You know, honestly, I feel like Snake Plissken is going to start to establish himself with that Intimidator vibe in our Sigma Racing Series. Came out guns a-blazing in the ARCA Series last year, winning at least 5 races. Let me double check that real quick. But kind of a relative unknown, shows up mid-season, doesn't even get a full season under his belt, because otherwise he would have been the ARCA champion last year. But because he joined so late, he'd already put himself way behind in the hunt for the title. He ended up coming home 17th in the points with 4 wins. 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 9 top 10s. And that was in 10 starts. So he almost had a near 50% win ratio in the Sigma ARCA, his first ever venture into the Sigma Racing Series. As it sits right now, he's at a 25% win ratio, actually 33, because this race is not complete yet. So picking up the pieces and moving on to Bridge to Cup with just about the same success that he saw in ARCA. It's a small window to gauge at the moment, but he's already fighting for the win here tonight. Stakes are a little bit higher. The field definitely a lot stouter. You know, with no disrespect to the ARCA talent, when you're racing in the ARCA Series, that's a bunch of your newcomers, your rookies that have not yet established themselves. So it's impressive to see Snake Plissken even bring an ounce of his power to the next step on the ladder. Well, Lefty Turner, the name obviously supposed to be a pun on the idea that they're turning left all the time, but he is an established winner and hopes to continue that way in Sigma Racing. I've had a couple people mention that it'd be nice to update the ads here. I know the ads are getting kind of bland. I would love to update, and I'm hoping I can figure out a way to make it streamlined so that I don't have to sit in front of a computer for hours to create advertisement graphics, as working a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday and other stuff very much tying me down with limited time. I would love to do so much more, and that has been helped a little bit by AI. I know folks ripping on the usage of AI, but I feel like it's a tool very, very handy for me to utilize to maximize the time and actually give more of a well-rounded production than what I would be able to do by myself. So in a way, it allows me to actually do some stat compiling, which is one thing I've always wanted to do more of, so I have more topics during the broadcast to talk about. And obviously when I'm at work, I have very little time to actually use my phone and actually make things happen. So with ChatGPT, I'm able to actually make it build stat logs for me to reference during the broadcast, and that's been a life changer this year just alone, having more to talk about. Obviously I follow the races, sitting here calling them with you guys, so I get more in-depth with the races to begin with, and I kind of retain that in the data log of my own brain. But so far, it's been an exciting start to the season. There's been a lot of anomalies, a lot of great racing. We've had some big wrecks. Tonight might not be much different. We might get to see just as many crazy shenanigans here tonight. So let's do a through the field here, as we've had a nice, good green flag run. Lefty Turner, your leader, followed by Santi Messi and Joey Johnson. Snake Plissken slots his way into fourth with his Outlaw Gang buddy right behind him in Philip Purpura. Willow Blake running in sixth. She's just kind of saving those tires at the moment. No reason to push too hard this early in the race. Save your stuff for the later run. And now up to seventh, Sebastian Galloway Jr. gets by what looks to be the 59 for position. So seventh place, Sebastian. Eighth place, Ralph Oberstadt, who has the fastest lap in the race here tonight. 27.085 around Atlanta. Next in line, it is Alex Sanvital. And 10th place, Jonah Burridge. Impressive turnaround for the number 40, who was outside the top 15 at one point. Chase Kovacic in 11th. Campbell Marsh in 12th. Sarah Taylor in 13th. Billy Lovejoy in 14th. Trevor Vaden in 15th. Next in line, Outlaw Gang Part 3 is Tim Morse in the number 29 Audi. Cannon Gage, Alan Malcolm, runner-up in the title hunt last year for this Bridge to Cup Series. Ryan White, top 20, and Kat Durham, top 20. Then you've got Kyler Sustre, Silent Amethyst, Timothy Buchanan, Justin Daytu, Jack Davis, and Andrew Moger. Cam Jordan, Krista Cower, Ryan Little, Jeffrey Gerald. And this one is unexplainable to me. Finley has been very stout for the start of the season, and this does not seem to be in line with what we've expected out of the 68 machines. So, bit of a struggle here to start, running in 31st, but I'm sure with a lot of racing still to go, he can maybe climb out of this. Adam Starr, Jason So, and then of course, Shy Turtle. Shy Turtle's gonna cause some shenanigans again here at the front of the field. Yeah, there's no way to say you're cooked quite yet, because there could be a big wreck with the leaders. There's a lot that could play out here tonight. One of the great things about the Mini Rebel 251 is the length of the race. Gives us some, you know, different dimensions of the race. You'll get to see some pit stops. You'll get to see attrition, some mechanical failures. You get to see some dominance, and then potentially even some pit strategy that could change the whole outcome of this race. Well, Snake Plissken back to the lead here. Leaders make quick work there of Shy Turtle. It's like they learned from the first time what to do and what not to do. Yeah, no, frickin' Snake Plissken is going to become the one guy that no one wants to see on the racetrack. I remember growing up, people despised Jeff Gordon. They despised Jimmy Johnson. Why? It's because they won all the time. It was all they did. They'd win, win, win. Some people would claim it was good for the sport because you had a dynasty. You'd have a driver that was trying to establish themselves amongst the likes of Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. Well, of course, Jimmy Johnson does just that, winning 7 championships. But so many people did not like Jimmy Johnson because that's all he did was win. I, for one, was the biggest Jimmy Johnson disliker. I'm not going to say hater because I've grown to actually really like Jimmy Johnson today. As a driver and a team owner, I really appreciated his switch over to IndyCar. That just showed you his passion for racing, I feel like. But getting back on the topic of Sigma Racing here, of course, we were bound to have drivers like that that would establish themselves as the anti-hero, basically, or the villain, because they win so much. And he's pitting right now, Snake Plissken. But how fitting is it Snake Plissken starts establishing himself as this winning driver, and he's racing for Al Bunch Incorporated. And we already know, for those that might not know, Al Bunch had the greatest career season in the Sigma Cup Series to date, winning 15 races in the 42-race schedule. That's never been done before, and he's going to hold that record for probably a very, very long time. So, Al Bunch knows how to pick him, and he picked Snake Plissken to come race for him. And we'll see if it pays off moving up to Cup even by this time next year for Snake Plissken. There we go, the next round of pit stops. Snake Plissken had the undercut. Looks like we have about 3 varying strategies on pit stops here. So as they're on pit road, let's jump back to who should be the proverbial leader here. Snake Plissken pitted first, so he's going to have the advantage of fresh tires while everyone else has to have the tires get up to temperature. And don't forget, folks, obviously after this race here tonight, we'll be heading over to Twitch to do the sprint qualifier for the Cup race for the big one tomorrow night with the Rebel 500. Well, 60 laps in, 100 laps to go. And that is your first green flag round of pit stops, as really the next round will probably come around lap 120, and we'll be able to go to the distance without really putting ourselves behind the 8 ball on fuel mileage here tonight. Lefty Turner and Willow Blake stayed out extra long, taking the overcut strategy here tonight. That could get interesting if the race stays green all the way to the finish. But for now, really it doesn't show much until we get further into the race. Because what that could do is if there's about a 10 lap difference on the last round of pit stops, Willow could have 10 laps fresher tires, and that could be a game changer. So Snake Plissken trying to put Finley Herwig a lap down here tonight. Man, what a change of 2 weeks makes. Nah, the 81 is back on the lead lap, so we went through green flag pit stops, and it's shuffled back to the lead. Should be. Yeah, the ticker's just a tad behind there. No retirements. Everyone's still running. However, 2 drivers, now 3 drivers trapped laps down here today. Willow did pit. She just came off the pit road, and she slotted herself into 5th. Yep. Nine laps to go. Green flag pit stops. Oh, and we've got a car stalled on the apron here. That is the 21. He's just now leaving the pits. What is going on with the 21 of Ryan Little? I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. He's either out of fuel, missed his stall. What in the world? Missed his stall altogether, and now he's out of fuel on the apron here. We'll wait and see if the game throws a caution for that. We'll let it stay green if it does not. It doesn't seem like they're going to throw a caution for the car that's legitimately stalled on the apron there. Willow trying to get up to third here. Or rather, fourth, I mean. The perspective of seeing the cars fly by a stalled car on the apron is wild. No caution still. They called the tow truck, got the car off the apron. We stay green. Sigma officials have been known to sleep on their flags pretty often, and this year has been kind of a continuation of that. But now it looks like we might be getting up to a 4-car fight for the lead here. Some lap traffic separates Willow from the top 3, but before you know it, she'll be up there as well, fighting for the lead. For Snake Plissken, I know that he ends up catching the broadcast the day after. So, obviously, with all Bridge to Cup races going forward, I'm going to be doing a spoiler disclaimer. Even if he doesn't win the race, I think it's probably best to do the disclaimer so that it doesn't spoil the race result for him, because he'll try to watch the race the next day when he's got free time. I know it's a little bit late on the East Coast for most people, and I appreciate all of you that have tuned in here tonight to catch the race. Should be an exciting one. Some of you might be noticing, too, that we're racing the vintage Atlanta. None of the super speedway pack drafting like the current Atlanta. I'm a little bit more partial to this one. I mean, I'm not against the renovation to the current Atlanta either. I wish it would have stayed with Atlanta Motorspeedway instead of changing the name. It's like Lowe's Motorspeedway all over again, or ISM Speedway, ISM, whatever. But for me, the original Atlanta carries a little bit more character, especially, you know, going back in history, looking at some of the big races. The one moment that stands out to me is Kevin Harvick winning at Atlanta just 3 races after the passing of Dale Sr. Celebrating by holding, you know, 3 fingers out the window. That was kind of like the closure that everyone needed from the tough times back there in 2001. And those moments are far and few between now. And I feel like Atlanta very much earned itself, you know, a spot on the pedestal amongst great racetracks with great moments. I look back at Darlington with Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven. And that was all during that same era of NASCAR. It's just wild that the most recent thing that we can kind of hang our hat on is the Hail Melon, of course. But yeah, no, I do. I like old school Atlanta. noticing in chat, do we have a retirement? Oh, the 21. What the heck happened? Oh, the 21 went laps down because of the fuel. So, yeah, Shy Turtle could go 11 more laps down here tonight, though, the way he's running. So, yeah, don't count those chickens quite yet. But it'd take quite a while for him to lose 11 more laps. Wow. And what's crazy about this Atlanta on NR2003, it seems to be unrestricted. They're getting up to 206 miles an hour going into the turns. That is a lot faster than these cars probably should be going at Atlanta. Just imagine the current configuration of Atlanta without a restrictor plate. Man, that would be dangerous and wild. Well, now we're racing towards the next green flag round of pit stops, perhaps at lap 120. Lefty Turner leads the way over Joey Johnson, Snake Plissken, and Willow Blake eking her way back into the picture. Santi Messi in 5th, Philip Purpura in 6th, Sebastian Galloway Jr. in 7th, Alex Sanvital in 8th, Ralph Overstat running in 9th. Fastest lap in the race, and he's still holding his own in the top 10. Chase Kovacic, Cannon Gage, Campbell Marsh, Ryan White redeeming some spots here. He was as far back as 20th, I remember. Here he is making a move to get up to 12th, right there alongside Campbell Marsh. Your points leader, Billy Lovejoy, kind of holding serve where he's been all night, running in 14th. Alan Malcolm 15th. Cat Durham 16th. So some of these drivers actually making improvements to the car as they're moving back through the field, it looks like. Kind of wonder if Shy Turtle made some adjustments to the 00. He doesn't seem to be as much of a rolling roadblock at the moment. Timothy Buchanan, 27th, in risk of going a lap down. Cam Jordan as well. And Jeffrey Gerald. Look at that, Willow Blake up into the top 3. So even with green flag pit stops, that has not diminished the race here at all. We're still seeing contenders swap it up at the front of the field. Looks like we went from about a 7-car fight for the win down to a 6-car fight, which is still very impressive here at Atlanta. Lap traffic is going to be the name of the game here, as these leaders have to figure out a way to navigate through the treacherous deep waters of lap traffic. And how nice of Lefty Turner to pick the car number that matches the position on the racetrack for us. It's kind of hard to lose track of who's number 1 out there today, as he's led for a good portion of the race. Let's look at the lap lead counter here. Lefty Turner has led most laps so far, 32 and counting. Joey Johnson at 4, Willow Blake at 22, Snake Plissken at 18, and Santi Messi at 6. As you can see, the cream has definitely rose to the top as the leading drivers are leading the way in the top 5. You're getting around some more of the lap traffic here, making quick work of it. Starting to have a 3-car breakaway here, but Snake Plissken goes 3 wide with lap traffic back there. Snake Plissken was making a comment the other day that there can only be one outlaw in town. We had a new ARCA driver join the series that wanted to go by the nickname The Outlaw as well. my ultimatum on that situation is that there can't be more than 2 outlaws on the racetrack together. So he's in the ARCA series right now. Snake Plissken in the Bridge to Cup series. But honestly, almost feels like we almost need to put them in the ring of the octagon or something to settle that one, as there can only be 1 outlaw. There's only 1 sheriff in town. And who knows if we have them gunslinging in the same field, have them heads up, Snake Plissken would probably earn that title hands down, as he is by far one of the most impressive rising talents here in the Sigma Racing Series. Halfway through, a little bit over halfway through now. Still no cautions, everything running smoothly as your leaders putting on a good show here tonight. Now it's kind of wild that here in the Bridge to Cup series we had a driver open up the season with back-to-back wins, just like with real life in Tyler Reddick. I don't know how many times that's happened where Sigma has imitated life. Art imitates life, as they always say, or sometimes say, maybe not always, but it occasionally happens where we have a weird standout trend, or heck, even one time we had a driver win the Daytona 500 in the same year that they won it in the Cup Series, the real NASCAR race. We had Austin Dillon, 2018, I shit you not, ended up winning the Sigma Daytona 500, and he also won the Daytona 500 that year in real life. We also did, just a couple years ago, we had Will Power in the series. Will Power went out there and had an astronomical year in the Sigma Cup Series, took home the championship. Well, that was also matched with him winning the IndyCar Championship in 2022 as well. So, yeah, it's pretty wild when that kind of stuff happens. Joey Johnson getting a chance to lead up front here for Jimmy Logano Racing. Santi Messi gets back up to 3rd here. Lefty Turner falls back to 4th. Snake Plissken holding serve in 5th. Go back and look at a previous season here for 2025 Bridge to Cup. Willow Blake, her career, her race wins in the Sigma Bridge to Cup series came predominantly on 1.5-mile tracks like this here tonight. She has not won at Atlanta yet, but she had a win at Texas Motorspeedway, Las Vegas Motorspeedway, and her other win was on a road course, or rather a street circuit at the Cleveland Airport. So her 3 career wins in Bridge to Cup, 2 of which came at tracks just like this, and it's going to show that this is kind of her strong suit, one of the tracks that she is most comfortable racing in. Without any cautions here tonight, it's definitely kind of dragging things out just a little bit. still have a 3-car battle, could potentially be a 6-car battle for the win once it gets down to the end of it here. This is the sweet spot for Willow Blake, as she took the overcut. She's got the advantage on fresher tires right now. And when everyone else is going to have to pit at lap 120, she might be able to stretch it to lap 130. Meaning she'll have a 33-lap push to the finish on tires 10 laps fresher than the rest of the field that pitted before her. So it may be a winning strategy here, especially the way the pit stops have fallen here tonight. Gives them a nice lengthy run at the end, kind of a mid-run. Not a full stretch, but a mid-stretch with 30 laps based on when they pit. Wow, that's a bold one there out of Sebastian. If he gets the top 5, he'll get a new sponsor here tonight. I'll have to look and see Atlanta-based or Georgia-based sponsors that would make sense to go with a sponsor from the area here. I'll honor that. I'll honor that if it falls through and you get a top 5 here tonight. We'll paint you a new race car, no doubt about it. We look at the deficit right now. Look at the box there on your right. Sebastian Galloway is 7.6 seconds back. Kind of a secondary speed to the lead speed here. But he could definitely catch that 31 of Purpura, especially with the rotating chair of pit stops. 60 laps to go. Some drivers, you know, just a little bit on the quieter side, but still having a stellar performance here tonight. Got to give credit to everyone in the top 10, holding their own, holding serve, putting on a good show. Wow! Oh wait, never mind. That's not the right car. I thought those are 2 lap down cars. Wow, Finley Herwig laps down in 32nd. That's a brutal one right there. Running in 11th, it is Campbell Marsh, Cannon Gage, and Alan Malcolm, followed by Ryan White, Kat Durham, and your points leader, Billy Lovejoy. It really is kind of spread out. You can see the difference in speed amongst teams. Teams and manufacturers alike are definitely kind of paired together out there. Willow Blake leads the race now, or has she? She's already been leading this. I'm in La La Land, I feel like, sometimes. She just got around for the lead, though. I can't be mistaken that. I thought she was running at least 2nd or 3rd, but I can't remember who was leading. Did we lose a driver in the top? I'm just delusional. That's it. That's the main of it. I'm just delusional. It was Joey Johnson. That's what it was. It was Joey Johnson leading, and he must have got shuffled out by lap traffic. Even do a through the field and you lose track of what's going on up front. That's how frantic the racing has been here tonight. A lot of movement at the front, a lot of back and forth. And here comes Lefty Turner back on the point. He has led most laps here today. And there are They're bonus points on deck for leading the most laps. So that is something you want to be able to hold at the end of the night. 44 laps led so far. Willow Blake could still catch him, but she's running out of laps to get that opportunity back in her ball court. If you think about it, it's kind of double danger for Willow, the number one up front leading. Every lap he leads is one lap less that she can't lead. 54 laps to go. That just means she has to lead one extra lap over the one car to guarantee the lead most laps bonus. '82 Joey Johnson and the 81 of Snake Plissken still very much in the picture here. And the next round of pit stops, they'll be coming here shortly, about 10 more laps. 81 will be probably one of the first takers to head back down pit road. Haven't seen anyone make a mistake yet on the first round of pit stops, so we'll see if that follows through on the second set. Still no cautions, so everything's going to go green, it seems, so far. Green flag pit stops very much on the horizon. And here we have our pit stops. And the overcut drivers obviously staying out. The 81 of Snake Plissken pitted already. We knew that he was going to be pitting on the lap 120 mark. Man, they're even shorter than that this time. I figured at least a lap 120, but they're going way under on the undercut. And here we have Willow taking the deep cut. She's going to stay out longer than the number one of Lefty Turner. Joey Johnson right behind her, sticking it out as well. This kind of opens up a bit of a danger zone if we do get a caution here, that they will be forced to pit while everyone else stays out. So you honestly, you do want to try to be smart about making this pit stop as soon as possible, but also stretching it out like this for your strategy's sake. Since Snake Plissken pitted on lap 115, I would wager, I'm a gambling man here, I'm going to predict that Willow doesn't pit till about lap 125. Oh, and they're wrecking. No, that might be your first caution. Willow's going to take the opportunity before the yellow's out. Is there no yellow? Where was the wreck on track? There's still no yellow. Wow, what a glorious, lucky break there for Willow. She couldn't stay out any longer after that, knowing that there was a car that had spun out. The 81 of Snake Plissken, one of your contenders here tonight. He runs into the 68 of Finley Herwig. Oh, and that totally changes this up because Snake Plissken on the undercut gets into it with lap traffic. That is problematic for sure. Yeah, he's got some side damage on there. That's going to slow his roll. That's why there's no caution, though, is because no car's got sideways on it. But the 81 paid the ultimate price there. Tough break. That's almost a rookie-esque mistake from the 81. Didn't really see that one happening here tonight. The only thing that could be in his favor is the fact that everyone else stayed out as late as they did to pit. He could rejoin the race in a decent spot here. Looks like he's back up to 6th. 5th place, Santi Messi. Or rather, 4th place, Santi Messi. That means Snake Plissken running in 5th. But he's far off the lead pace. As your leader, it is Lefty Turner at the front of the field. It's wild that we have not had a caution yet. They're racing like we might get one, though. Yeah, lap traffic is going to keep this lead group at odds end here. Dude, that's the 8 of Campbell Marsh about to go lap down. That's for 13th place, so they put up to 18th place lap down at the moment. That doesn't happen very often. Joey Johnson and Willow Blake, they're having to maneuver through. Oh, and Shy Turtle is factoring into this again. Willow playing nice. I'm surprised she hasn't taken out the 00 yet. But she's back up to 2nd. Just has to keep her head down and hunt down the number 1. Crazy to say that that's lap traffic ahead of him, halfway through the field. And don't rest for one moment, folks, because this could happen to Lefty Turner, just like we saw Snake Plissken. Lefty Turner, he could be sweating bullets under the helmet right now, trying to work through this traffic and not make a mistake. Lefty Turner sits 3rd in the points. After tonight, who knows? He might be the new points leader. Need more outgoing Turtle. That's funny. That's a funny right there. Willow Blake fastest lap in the race, so she has her harness cinched down, helmet tightened up. She's willing to take the fight to the number one here tonight. This is wild, folks. I, honestly was not sure what to expect here tonight. We've only had 2 of these races in the Bridge to Cup series, so not a whole lot of previous race footage to look back at. And this one is not disappointing at all. Lap traffic is wild here as they've made it halfway through the field. Lap traffic's actually going to push Lefty Turner to the outside. 3 wide with lap traffic maybe. Willow Blake, she can smell the blood in the water. She gets the inside line with Silent Amethyst right behind her. And they're separating the 82. Oh, and the one is going to get slowed way up here. Willow's right there knocking on the door. Fastest lap a couple laps ago for Willow Blake. And here she is using the lap traffic to her advantage. Here's the thing. This lap traffic is not that slow because you're putting down up to 15th 1 lap down at the moment. And Willow Blake takes the lead. 32 laps to go. If she can set sail, she would have to lead all of the remaining laps here to secure lead most lap honors. It's a tall order to fulfill. We have another car stalled on the apron, no? Oh, the 21 actually was not stalled on the apron this time. I had to do the math again. Math not quite mathing at the moment. Okay, so she needs overtime here tonight, actually, because she would only be able to make it to lap 62 with laps led here tonight. Which, of course, so I don't forget. Oh, well, I forgot. And there is no better cautions enabled. So we'll go ahead and enable those now. And if we get a caution, then overtime imminent if we don't see the white flag. I'd have to DQ half the field, though, if I was playing the hand of God here tonight. Here's what's wild. The 81 is obviously wounded. Snake Plissken after hitting the wall like he did. And now he's fallen into the grasps of, well, what'll eventually be Philip Purpura and Sebastian Galloway Jr. So Sebastian has the game plan here in place to get a top 5. He just needs to be patient and keep hammering down on the laps here. Then the 21 makes another trip down pit road. Watch, he'll be the one bringing out the caution, wrecking the field or something. Well, Willow taking full advantage of the lap traffic, and she's driving away from Lefty Turner. For Willow, she can see the light at the end of the tunnel. She knows she needs to get around these last 4 lap cars. And it's clear track ahead for a while, which will definitely help her case. But getting on that outside was not where she needed to be, as that has helped Lefty Turner close the gap back in. Yeah, with you mentioning the LePage, I kind of remember other drivers that their name became synonymous with other situations that superseded their talent on the racetrack. One that I'll never forget still is Vickernism, where Brian Vickers would go on a rage out there, wreck half the field, do all that dumb shit. And yeah, now Vickernism and LePage the field, you're kind of the same thing at that same power, same energy. There we go, Willow getting around the rest of the traffic here, and she'll have a clear track ahead. And she's only going to be about 6 months removed from her last victory in the Sigma Racing Series. We look back to 2025, where she had her breakout start in the series. Her last win, of course, came at Las Vegas, which was also a lead-in race to the big one, the 777 annual. On the Cup side, we have the mini 777, basically, or I can't remember the name at the moment, but she won a lead-up race, just like this one here tonight is a lead-up race to the Cup event the next night, and that was on June 17th of 2025, so actually 8 months removed from her last race win, almost perfectly 8 months ago. So it's a long dry spell for some folks, definitely a longer dry spell for the likes of Willow Blake, with the extracurriculars that landed her in hot water out of the series for pretty much 6 of those 8 months. But she came back with a fury, ready to prove her point that she needs a shot in this series to move up the ladder into the Cup Series. She's fallen victim now to some of the lap traffic. Chase Kovacic giving her a little bit of hell. One lefty turner not going away, as this battle is going to intensify. The lead's going to get up in the air here if the number one gets right there beside her. 19 laps to go. And we're not going to step away from the front of the field. This battle getting too close to call. Kovacic holding up Willow Blake, and that's going to open the door for lefty Turner. He's going to stick his nose in, but Willow keeps the momentum rolling into turn one. Still holding it solid here. The one sticks it down low, gets some fresh air on the front nose of that Chevrolet. If there to be a caution, it's maybe going to be Willow Blake playing bumper cars here if Chase Kovacic doesn't get out of the way. And she sticks her nose in. That takes a lot of momentum off that car, though, to break down. Finally gets around the 44, but what will the number one have in store behind her? Looks like she's going to maintain the momentum she's carrying. 16 laps to go. Make that 15 now as Willow leads that lap. And Chase Kovacic is running in 10th place. They put everyone a lap down through 10th place at the moment. So 9 cars left on the lead lap. Last driver on the lead lap at the moment is Ralph Oberstadt. So we can jump ahead and see how those battles are doing and jump back just as quickly. But here we go. Some battles brewing. The 95 Sebastian Galloway Jr. gets by the 31 of Philip Purpura. And Snake Plissken running slower laps here. He's fallen into the grasp of the 95. Sigma officials would tend to throw a caution for shenanigans and shits and giggles, but I'm thinking we're gonna keep this one rolling. We need it to be organic caution if there's gonna be a caution here tonight. This in its own is kind of an anomaly at Atlanta. We usually have at least a caution, at least a wreck. There we go. Made it happen, and the 81 falling backwards. Oh, the 41 getting right in there. Now it's a battle for 5th place as Alex Sanvital wakes up here, fighting to get a top 5 away from Sebastian Galloway Jr. Sebastian held 5th for just a brief moment in time. Sanvital takes over 5th place. Purpura up to 6th, and Sebastian falls back to 7th with Snake Plissken in 8th. Still running a solid 9th. It is Ralph Oberstadt, the number 59 machine. $10 to go, make that 9 to go. 6-7 leading the way. Green-white checkers is definitely the one thing Willow wants to avoid seeing here tonight, because any extra laps are definitely going to work against her. However, the only other reason she might want to see overtime would be to get the lead most lap bonus that goes with leading all the most laps led. So it's kind of a catch-20. Do you want that late race caution to come out so you can try to max points out, or just settle for the win without the bonus points that are obviously going to go to the driver right there behind her, who's led the most laps here tonight? There's still drama for this top 5. I guess we can kind of call it a semi-podium. Not just the top 3, but the top 5 here. 31 of Purpura holds 5th at the moment, but Sebastian wants it. And the Dogecoin car definitely running on a rail here tonight. The lone Pontiac in the field. Is he gonna have what it takes to get around the 31 by the end of this race? And there you have your points leader, 1 lap down in 15th. That's just wild. Oh, Shy Turtle, the nemesis, meets again at the front of the field. 5 to go for Willow. All she's got to do is hold on for dear life. There we go, making the move to get around to the 31 of Purpura here. He was up to 5th at one point, and then the 41 went blowing by. No, don't make the same mistake. Don't let the 41 get a whiff of fresh air there. Wow. 95 almost repeated the same offense as he went way high there, but he's holding on to 5th for now. He just Man, can't let that 41 back by you. Just a couple laps left to go. Willow Blake leads the way. The rest of the field desperately hoping for caution to get back into this with a green-white checkered affair. We're leading, we're rolling into the last 2 laps. Not the white flag yet. So there's still a chance at a green-white checkered if we get a caution anywhere before the end of this lap. Willow trying to cement her legacy on 1.5-mile track. She has these tracks down pat. Very important to have this track style figured out, because that's what makes up most of a NASCAR schedule. That's what makes up most of the Sigma schedule is 1.5-mile tracks for the most part. Intermediate raceways are a huge asset to have. And so here we go, halfway through the final lap here tonight. Willow Blake leads over Lefty Turner. She might not have led most laps tied up, but she don't care. She's going to have the checkered flag and the trophy in victory lane here tonight. 67 wins the race here. First time in the new car number for Willow Blake. Taking home victory for Courting Brothers Motorsports. Very much a huge victory here tonight. And it's just the start of something more for this young star in the racing scene of Sigma. So, heck yeah. No, that was an awesome race. I mean, she earned it. She had to get around the one. She did that all on her own, aggressively and strategically, with class, to steer her way to victory lane. And that's just an appetizer for tomorrow night with the Cup race, the 500-mile. You thought this was exciting. Man, tomorrow's the Cup race should be just as, or if not, maybe more exciting than the Bridge to Cup race here was today. It is going to be lively on the server tonight, I can tell. We had a lot of very energetic drivers up at the front of the field. So this one is going to be a memorable win for Willow, and a memorable race for many of the other contenders in the field as well. And just kind of following in that trend of, you know, the unpredictable, we do have kind of the star power showing up now, though, after Campbell Marsh won the first 2 races, and now Snake Plissken and Willow Blake. That's a knockout 1-2 for the last 2 races, if I've ever seen one. So our ladder system works tremendously. We're seeing the drivers that have earned their keep getting wins yet again, as it's proven to be the case time and time again. Just look at Al Bunch, who came from the lower end to work his way up to being the Sigma Cup champion. Matter of time before some of these drivers might be in that conversation as well, working their way up to a championship. Bringing it home 5th, Alex Sanvital unfortunately usurps Sebastian Galloway Jr.'s top 5 venture, but still a very, very valiant effort. So unfortunately, no paint scheme. I was going to honor that, but only if you got the top 5. So maybe next time, and if you catch me in the right mood for the next race, maybe throw up that ultimatum again, and we can see what we can do. Don't crash on me, game. I don't want you to crash. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And sure. I am OCD as all hell, and I apologize, folks, because I have to double, triple, quadruple check that actually saved everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And we ran a caution-free event here tonight at Atlanta. As wild as that sounds. Congratulations yet again to Willow for securing the win here tonight. And everyone else for just having a great race. That was an exciting one to follow. And definitely got the adrenaline pumping here tonight. No, I feel like Radioactive could be pretty lit up here tonight with some drivers furious over some calls. I'm sure there could have been a caution at one point in the race. The Sigma officials just kind of silently sat on their flags here tonight, especially with the 21 stalling on the, the apron and getting a ghost tow truck to pull it back to pit lane. And then how about Snake Plissken making contact with the 68 of Finlay Herwig? I mean, that should have been a caution, and Willow Blake took the opportunity, did not want to let the caution fall while she was out on track. So she pulled down pit road and ultimately made the move that won her the race. So, well, with that, folks, that is a wrap here tonight from the Sigma Bridge to Cup Series. We do have the sprint qualifier coming up right in about 15 minutes on Twitch. I'll go ahead and get that set up and rolling, and feel free to tune in. Otherwise, catch you tomorrow, hopefully, on the Cup broadcast here on YouTube. So have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there, and until next time, this is Jakester signing out.